Hey everybody, welcome to GMG Review. Today we're taking a look at Death Battletome Nighthaunt and the new Nighthaunts Lord Vitriolic, which were kindly sent as complimentary review copies by Games Workshop, and represent one half of this weekend's pre-orders for Death stuff for 4th edition Age of Sigmar. This seems to be kind of the tempo for these last in, first out 3rd edition Battletomes. The Flesh Eaters in particular had like a really late edition, 3rd edition AOS Battletome. So they had a bunch of new units and stuff already. They had like a Carnal Throne. They got a bunch of big new beasties. They got their new like big like Mad Mortark. And these guys got the new like counter and the crossbow troops and like a bunch of like mid edition like new units as well in one of the 2-player battle boxes. So they're just getting a character and a book this time around, Lord Vitriolic. Once again, the answer to like what if Guillermo del Toro made a Age of Sigmar army. We've got this 4-armed freak. And he is a single build kit, 40 mil base, and of course has all of his stats on the back. I don't think there's any variations. I didn't see any green sections when I looked at the rules here. Nope, it's all just built as on the box to make this cool, like, I don't know, Potion Man, Lord Poisoner, and we'll check out his unit profile when we go through here. Let's dive in. So what is, of course, we've also got some new Anvil of Apotheiois stuff for our campaign play, as well as the wonderful new Spearhead, which contains a lot of troops, and actually the aforementioned new troops that were in that 2-player battle box. I can't remember who the bad guys were. All the bad guys. The alternate, the other force. Was it Chaos? I think it was Chaos. I don't remember. I think it might be that was where they launched the Chaos Chosen as well in that box set. So full color, once again, usual Battletome stuff, going through Nagash and what he does in the Realm of Death. And I really like this in particular because we have all of the cool new models in here, like Ragnar the Grimhauler, Allrock the Drowner, which again, these were all new things basically in the previous, I think it was in 2nd edition, 3rd edition, of course, and now 4th edition, we have the Lord Vitriolic. Shrouded in an alchemical fog, the Lord Vitriolic is an arch poisoner, not of the flesh, but of the soul. And everything sanctified against the intrusions of the dead. It's a creature of disturbing appearance, its many contorted and pallid limbs compulsively mixing bone dust and Solantum Nactbriar into elixirs and solvents. A gaunt countenance is caged behind a penance bridle to silence its liar's tongue, while withered fingers clutch bottles and vials from a burdensome rack of chemicals on its back. They were once peddlers of potions, charismatic summoners who hawked fake cures. So they're snake oil salesmen, basically. They get cursed in on death to basically do this for the end of time. And because they're liars, they wear their mask. Krulgask Cruciator, that was, I think, a 3rd edition release. And of course, we have all the ghosts themselves, the cool new nexuses. And we're into the faction rules. So, faction rules, we're going to go through and do the faction rules. The armies of renown, which are pretty simple in this one, and then we'll talk about the Spearhead at the end, and then the Anvil of Apotheiois. So if you want to skip ahead, maybe some nice person will time code this. I'm not very good at that stuff, so maybe go ahead and do that if you want to. Battle traits. Okay, so usual format for this, of course, this is the update from the index. Battle traits, pretty common and not like huge changes. So obviously they still ignore positive and negative modifiers. Sorry, ignore negative modifiers. You can get positive modifiers for everyone that's not in a gash. And then Ethereal Translocation, once per turn army in your movement phase. Core ability, you can have somebody you pick up and put down anywhere in the battlefield, not within 9 of the enemy. And it just has to be not in combat for you to do it. Mounting Dread. Subtract the current battle round from the control scores of enemy units while they're in combat with Nighthaunts. So like, let's say you've got 10 goblins, they're all objective control 1. And then you've got the battle round 3, they'd have a control of 7 overall because the Nighthaunts are in combat with them. Sepulchral Apparitions, once per battle army in the deployment phase. So basically what this allows you to do is, in the deploy faction terrain part of deployment, you put 1 piece down, and then you can respond with the other 2 pieces of Sepulcher after deployment's finished. They must be wholly outside enemy territory, more than 3 from all objectives and other terrain features, and more than 12 from all their friendly nexus of grief. So you can spread the other 3 out. For battle formations, you can always pick 1 from your army. Vanish and reappear. Once per army turn in the movement phase, declare, pick a friendly Nighthaunt unit that is in combat to use this ability. And the effect is roll a die. The unit using this ability can move its movement characteristic with the number added to the roll. It can pass through any models and combat range of enemy units, and it can end the move in combat. So basically, once per turn per army in your movement phase, you can push units around, even if they're engaged. Deathstalkers, declare, pick a friendly Nighthaunt unit in the target for the rest of the turn. You can charge and shoot even if you retreated, and you don't take mortal damage from retreating. Shrieker Host, pick a friendly Nighthaunt hero, you can't retreat from him. And then Royal Procession, once per turn per army in the enemy hero phase. Lethal Rancor, pick 2 friendly Nighthaunt units to be the targets. They get anti-charge +1 rend for the rest of the turn. So basically you can like set defend with your army in the enemy hero phase. You can pick 2 units. You can use a hero to pin somebody down. That could be Nagash. Quicksilver Geist, you can move units around in your own movement phase, but it's a core move. And then still be in combat. And then no escape, retreat, and still charge and shoot. Heroic traits, Ruler of the Spectral Hosts. Once per turn army in your hero phase, pick 3 friendly non-hero Nighthaunts within 12 inches, and they can either heal X if they're targeted, and if the target's not damaged, return a number of slain models where X is the amount of equal to the roll. So like, either multi-wound units heal X, and then single wound units will get D3 guys back. Deathly Possessor, pick an enemy hero in combat with this unit to be the target. Then pick another enemy unit to be the victim. Roll a dice on a 3+, pick one of the target's melee weapons, immediately resolve combat attacks against the target with the weapon against the victim. So you basically pick one of their weapons and fight with it. Really handy on, I don't know, somebody who's not Nagash. Oh, I guess, yeah, because he's an epic hero, so you can't take him. Or any of the Mortarks. Who could do this? So your Knight of Shrouds can make 5 attacks this sort of hours. You could use your Color's Sickle. You could... Who else is a decent melee fighter? The Lord Executioner could fight with his axe. Spirit Torment could hit with his chains. Probably the Knight of Shrouds or the Lord Executioner. And then Shadowy Aura, for the rest of the turn, subtract 1 from hit rolls for attacks that target the unit. It's a reaction. You declare a redeploy command for a friendly Nighthaunt unit wholly within 12 of this unit. Basically, you get to like then be -1. So somebody else redeploys, and like the stuff that comes up when they do it, give him -1 to hit. I don't love that one because it costs you a command point. So you have to basically activate this one with a command point, so just getting -1 to hit seems like the worst of the bunch. Get guys back is always great. Fight in any combat phase on a 3+. Yeah, like you pick an enemy hero and, oh, sorry, Deathly Possessor. You have somebody else fight. It's not you. It's somebody else in the combat with you to then fight and attack themselves. Yeah, so they have to be in combat range of any unit. So like that one could be really powerful depending on who you're fighting. This one's just good all the time. If I was going to rank them, I'd say Ruler, Deathly Possessor, and then Shadowy Aura last because it's going to cost you a command point. Artifacts of Power, again, this one costs you a command point. Brazier of Nagashazar. If you roll 1 to 3 when determining the distance, you can use a 4 instead, so it makes you better at doing it. That one's cool because it just means you need to be doing it all the time now. But it's kind of a freebie. And then Light Shard of the Harvest Moon. So once per battle in any combat phase, if this unit's in combat, add 1 of the attack characteristics of melee weapons used by friendly Nighthaunts while they're wholly within 12 of this unit for the rest of the turn. Basically, like activate the Night Shard, but it's once per game. And then reaction, opponent declares a spell or prayer ability for a wizard or priest wholly within 12 of this unit. The Mirror of Echoed Failures. Declare, pick an enemy wizard or priest to be the target and roll a d3 on a 2+. For the rest of the turn, subtract 1 from casting and chanting rolls for that target, and each time any of the target fails to cast it, chant or a prayer, so cast a spell or chant a prayer, they get mortal wound. So that one's not once per game, and it's just whenever somebody does something nearby, so you just shove a hero in. Again, this one feels like the best. This one, your opponent has to do, or so you have to declare redeploys all the time. But I guess you could double it down with that other one, the Shadowy Aura. And then, yeah, so if you took both these together, maybe. And then Light Shards once per game. So, you know, I don't love once per game abilities unless they're really powerful. Spell Lore, Fell Blades. If you hit somebody with a fight ability, all these are pretty decent. Cast on 6, cast on 6, cast on 7. This one is if you target, until the start of your next turn, each time a target uses a fight ability, if all of its attacks targeted the same enemy unit, after it's resolved, it's -1 from save rolls for that enemy unit for the rest of the turn. So basically, if you attack with one unit, the next unit to fight it is going to be -1 save. I don't think this stacks. No, because it's on the one unit. So the one unit attacking, it would just go off once. Wrench Souls, you can have somebody either move or retreat, does it was your movement phase and the hero phase. Chains of Death, make an enemy hero strike last for a 7. 18-inch range. So move a unit or retreat a unit, 18-inch range, make a unit strike last, enemy hero rather, and then this one, you can double down some attacks. Manifestations, the Reaper comes in on a 6, the Mortalist Terminexus comes in on a 6, and the Summon Vault of Souls comes in on a 6. Nagash, he's going to be the same as Nagash in the other Undead books. Oh, again, I'm not the guy to spot differences. I'm focusing on what's new. So do not expect me to know anything about what's different. So, just flipping through here so you guys can, if you want to pick out the differences, do so. But let's check out the new guy, the Lord Vitriolic, 5+ ward, obviously, because he is undead, 5+ save, control 2, health 5. They used to have a 4+ just unmodifiable save. Now it's a 5+, 5+, which I think is fine. This is new for the edition now, so I shouldn't say new for this book. Hurled Vial, he's got a 10-inch range, 1 attack, 3+, 3+, rend 2, d6 damage, crit auto wound shot. That is a powerful, hot, like one-shot thing for a 10-inch range gun. And then a sickle is a crit auto wound. It's 3 attacks, 4s and 3s, rend 1, d3 damage. And then once per turn for your army in the shooting phase, you have Spectral Alchemy. Pick an enemy unit within 10 to be the target of this unit, and you can then just hurl your vial at it too. Roll a die on a 3+, pick one of the following effects. Phantasmal Solvent, or roll 2 dice and apply both. So either pick one or apply both if you roll randomly. Phantasmal Solvent, if the target has a move characteristic of dash, inflicts 6 mortal wounds. So when something that doesn't move, it just does 6 mortal wounds. Acid Fog, D3 mortals. Flink Concoctions, add 1 to the attack characteristic of this phase. Add 1 to the attack characteristic of this unit's hurled vial. So you roll 2 vials instead of 1. Choking Vapors, if the target's a wizard, it's -1 to its power level. Fear-Laced Hallucinogens, if it's a priest, remove D3 ritual points from it. And Unholy Prescription, ward rolls can't be made for the target for the rest of the turn. All great results. And I don't see anything prohibiting it from rolling the same result twice. So with the exception of Unholy Prescription, it looks like they get all double down. So +2 to your attack characteristic, -2 to your power level, -2 D3 priest points, 2 D3 mortal damage. Apply both corresponding effects in an order of your choosing, including duplicates. Yeah, there it is. It's called out. Cool shooting unit. A shooting unit for the ghosts. That's weird. And then we've got our Pyrogeists. Again, relatively new because these, I think, were a Warcry unit, and these Craven Throne Guard that came out in the last edition. Can't believe the Hex Wraiths are still in there. And our Black Coach. All of our big summonables. Nexus of Grief. Remove this turn from the battlefield and set it up. It can, once per turn, can move around up to 3 inches. It can set it up in the battlefield within 3 of a friendly Nighthaunt unit, more than 3 from all objectives and enemy units, and within 12 another Nexus. Not within 12 another Nexus. Enemy units can't use commands while they're within 3, and then Awful Refashioning once per turn army at the end of any turn. Declare, pick a friendly Nexus of Grief, and then pick up to 3 friendly Nighthaunt units, wholly within 12 to be the target. You cannot pick the same unit to be the target of the same ability more than once per turn. So either if the target's damage, heal D3, and then bring back D3. So it's the same as a command ability, or the heroic trait. That's it. There's the core of the army. Again, unmodifiable saves. Neat new shooting unit to go with your Craven Throne Guard, who are like your other shooting unit. I guess you have a 10-inch range gun with the Black Coach too, but nothing really shoots further than that 10-inch range. 16 for the crossbows, I think, is the longest, and then whatever Nagash is shooting at you, blood darts. All right. We'll do the like I said, we'll do the Spearhead after we do the 2 armies are now. So the first one, the Clattering Procession. When you pick the Nighthaunt faction, you can do a Clattering Procession. The roster options are Reignor, Knight of Shrouds on a Steed. So this is all the mounted stuff. Dreadblade Harrows, Hex Wraiths, Black Coaches, and you cannot include any regiments around or faction terrain, so you don't even get your faction terrain. Still Ethereal, Speed of Death, declare a friendly procession unit that use a charge or retreat unit this turn, not in combat and wholly within 9 inches of the battlefield edge, uses this ability. So basically, if you, at the end of your turn, if you charge or retreated, you can disappear off the battlefield and then come in wholly within another battlefield edge. And more than 3 from enemy units. So not in combat, and just like, you just go from edges to edges. Spectral Swiftness, pick a procession unit that's in combat, uses ability. That unit can move a distance up to its move characteristic. It can pass through, so it's basically the Quicksilver thing, but can't end the move in combat. So not quite the Quicksilver army faction trait, but close. And then Pitiless Reapers, pick a friendly clattering procession unit that passed across a enemy unit this phase, and then pick one of those enemy units. Roll a die for each model in the procession unit. Add 1 to the roll if it's a black coach that passed along in the same phase for every 6 out of mortal damage. So black coach doesn't have 5, but it could have just moved over and then had a bigger unit do a huge amount of damage. And that's kind of the trick here. Have the black coach go over, and then the big unit also does it on 5s. And there's no cap on this. So a 20-man unit flying over, send a black coach, then send a 20-man unit, then you've got 5s to, I guess, well, you can't get 20-man unit. Oh, no, you could do Harrows. Yeah, Harrows are, I think, 10. Let's double check. Because Harrow's the big unit. Oh, no, never mind. I can't tell you because I forgot. None of that is in this book. It's in the 40K books, and I get confused which one's which. Yeah, it's not even in here. So I don't even know what the unit sizes are. Tremendous. I have no idea what the unit sizes are in this book, which is very funny. So yeah, so that's what you would want. And the Harrows, I think. The hex wraiths are the mounted ones. The Harrows are the ones that are the flyer, little like wraithy dudes. Trust Inheritance. Oh no, that's the 2-man unit. Never mind. It's not even the. Oh yeah, this sucks then. You can't. It doesn't. There's no way to do it with a big unit. Hex wraiths are 5. I guess it's hex wraiths. So you get 10 dice maybe. That's why there's no cap on it. There's no big unit to do it with. Yeah, I forgot the Harrows, just the mounted baby characters. All right, trait then for your Ninja Shrouds, because that's all you're getting. Pick 3 friendly clattering units wholly within 12 of this unit to be the target for the rest of the turn. The targets can use charge abilities even if they retreated in the same turn. Your artifact for that same dude, Talisman of Nadir. If a friendly clattering possession unit wholly within 12 of this unit was picked to be the target of the spell, this unit can use the Unbind ability as if it had Wizard 1. Add 1 to the Unbinding roll. So you can unbind with that guy, which is cool. And then your spell lore, and these are going to go on Reichnar, because I believe he is a wizard. Because your Harrows aren't. He gets this whole thing, as he's the candle wizard, he snuffs out candles. Reichnar, the Grimhailer, did he just get art? Yeah, he did just get art, no picture. He is wizard 1. And he can snuff out his corpse cowers to add to his power level or casting roll, same as before. So he's going to get these 3 spells. Spectral Lash on a 4+. Pick a friendly possession wizard to cast this spell, and then pick a friendly possession unit wholly within 12, and roll 2d6 on a 4. Add 2 to their move. That one's easy. Summon Shyish Reaper. If there's not a friendly Shyish Reaper on the battlefield, pick a friendly clattering possession and do it. So you can summon it within on 6. And Fell Riders. Pick a friendly possession wizard to cast this spell, and then pick a unit wholly within 12 invisible. And then they can reroll run rolls and charge rolls for the target of the spell for the rest of the turn. Yeah, I don't know. This army's a gimmick. This army's a super gimmick. A bunch of your mounted stuff. You have 1 wizard. You get the Knight of Shrouds. Harrows are great, but like they're shock units. You need to bog them down with the smaller units, I think, to get the most effect out of them. You're just going to get surrounded. And you have no control score. Control 2 for the Knight of Shrouds. And then you've got so few unit options. Where's your... Yeah, Harrows, 3 wounds each. You get 2 of them in a unit. They hit pretty hard with crit auto wound. 4s and 3s. Ugh. And then Hex Wraiths, still doing crit, +1 damage and crit auto wound. No mortals anymore, just on the charge. Yeah, I don't know. This thing seems pretty toothless, if I'm being honest. It's a cool idea, but like it just seems like it's not going to do enough damage. The Eternal Nightmare. Roster options, Nagash, and then any non-unique Nighthaunt infantry units, and no regiments renowned. So it's Nagash plus all the infantry. But that's it. He doesn't get any wizards. He doesn't get, it's just a Nagash, which, I mean, he's half your army. So 1,000 points worth of ghosts and then him. Ethereal, ignore negative mods for Nighthaunts that aren't Nagash, gather power. The following effects apply to the friendly Nagash in the first and second battle round as shown. Battle round 1, his move is dash and he can't pilot, his ward is 3, he has a control characteristic of 1, Alakanash and Zephyr have 2 attacks instead of 4. Battle round 2, his move is 6, he cannot end his move more than 6 from the ritual site, he has a 4+ ward, control 5, and then still there's only 2 attacks instead of 4. So basically it's only during the first and second battle rounds as he's waking up. And then deployment phase, the ritual begins. You must use this ability to set up the friendly Nagash, pick a friendly Nexus of Grief wholly within friendly territory to be the ritual site. Set up the friendly Nagash within 1 inch of the ritual site and wholly within friendly territory. After you've done so, he's been deployed, and then Nexus of Grief is the ritual site for the rest of the battle. And then Unholy Vessel, the ritual site has a 4+ ward and cannot use the Hungry Crypts ability. It can't eat people. Heroic trait, hero only. Reaction, you declare a spell ability for a friendly Nagash within 18 of this unit. Non-unique Nighthunt infantry. So you would be able to give the, so I guess you could take other hero units. Yeah, you can, you must be able to. It's the non-unique that got in my brain there. You can use them to cast spells through. Artifact of Power, Sealed Nagash. Once battling your hero phase, allocate 3 damage points to this unit, then heal 3 on the Nagash. Basically like kill yourself to get your life back. Spell Lore, Divine Terror, pick a friendly Eternal Nightmare Wizard to cast this spell, and then pick a friendly enemy unit with an 18 to be the target. That's on a 5. Subtract 3 from the target's control score for the rest of the turn. And then Will of Nagash, declare, pick a friendly Eternal Nightmare Wizard to cast this spell. It's on an 8. At the start of your next turn, if the unmodified hit roll or wound roll is 1 to 3, it doesn't do it. So basically Transhuman Physiology for an infantry unit wholly within 12 on an 8. And then you can summon the Reaper, the Terminuxus, and the Vault of Souls. So like you deep strike in Nagash to the middle of the table, and then infantry like swarms around and supports him. It's neat. All right, regiments. You can take a Scriptor Mortis and 10 Craven Thorn Guards. So if you had that box set, that 2-player battle box, this is a thing that the Courts, the Bone Reapers, and the Grave Lords can take. You get some crossbows, that's cool. Enemy of the Throne. Add 1 hit wound rolls for units that this regiment or round attacks that is sentenced this turn. So if the Scriptor Mortis sentences you, you're +1 to hit and wound. That's a neat little shooting unit. You can take any other armies. And then just take a Black Coach. Dark Resurrection. If any damage points are allocated to an enemy unit by this unit's combat attacks, pick a friendly non-unique death infantry hero that's been destroyed to be the target. And set up a replacement unit identical to the target wholly within 12 of this unit. The replacement unit can only be set up in combat with enemy units that are in combat with this unit. So basically, you lose little units and you just bring them back, and it doesn't say that it stops. So just keep killing, and this guy keeps bringing back baby heroes. So like non-unique death infantry heroes. So you can just bring back Knights of Shrouds, like bring back Scriptor Mortises, or bring back like whoever. So just take a whole army of Knights of Shrouds. Or this guy, or the Lord Vitriolic, or the Cruciator, and just send them back in. Or the Executioner, just keep fighting, and then keep summoning them back in. And any of the Death armies can take it. Flesh Eaters, Ossiarchs, and Soulblight Graveyards. All right, let's talk about the new Spearhead army, the Cursed Shackle Horde. So you've got like Chain Gas, Spirit Torments, Dreadblade Harrows, the Bladegeist Revenants, and the Dreadscythe Heritance. So 25 miniatures, including a hero. Pretty cool. These are great. I haven't seen a lot of people using Heritance, but that's an addition ago. Again, one of the easiest armies to paint, right? Because you're just doing all the contrasts. This is a nice quick contrast way of doing it. Corrects White, Deepkin Flex, and then you just do the top parts, so you shade darker and darker to the high point. That is such a clever, quick way of doing this army. I actually hadn't considered that before, and I like it. It's because you're shading dark up as opposed to light up. You're low lighting instead of highlighting, and that's a really clever way of doing the army. I might steal that. That means I'm going to steal that. So it's the Spirit Torments in charge, 2 Chain Ghasts, 5 Bladegeists, 5 Bladegeists, 5 Dreadscythes, and 2 Dreadblade Harrows. You start with the 1 unit of Revenant, Bladegeists and Dreadscythes in reserve, and you can set them up in the second battle round on. Set up that unit anywhere in the battlefield, more than 6 from all enemy units, once per turn army in your movement phase. So only one of them shows up on 2, and that means the other one has to show up on 3, because it's once per turn. And they're ethereal, so you ignore negative mods still. You can get 2 different hero abilities for Mr. Spirit Torment, but let's take a look at him before we get any further on. He's same core rules. 5 attacks, 4s and 3s, run 1, 2 damage with crit auto wound. Pick a friendly unit wholly within 12 to be the target of his captured soul energy. On a 3+, add 1 to wound rolls, so +1 to wound. And he's a baby hero, 5+, 5+, 2 control, and 5 health. He flies though, which is nice. And we got our chain ghasts. 3 health each, because they're like little tiny heroes with their chain flails. They get a gun, so 12-inch shot, 2 attacks, 4s and 3s, run 2 damage, 1 with crit auto wound. And in melee, basically the same profile. 3 wounds, 6+ save, 5+ ward. The 6+ save is light, but the 5+ ward's cool. And then you got another link in the chain. Roll a die, add 1, this is your combat phase. Add 1 to the roll if the unit's wholly within 12 of any friendly spirit torments on a 3+. For the rest of the turn, add 1 to hit rolls for combat attacks made by friendly units while they're wholly within 12 of this unit. So +1 to hit. So you get +1 hit and +1 to wound. And then the Blade Geist Revenants, great Tomb Blades, 2 attacks, 3s and 3s, run 1 damage, 1 with crit auto wounds. They get a Thrashing Desperation. While this unit contests an objective you control, enemy units cannot end a charge move within ½ inch of this unit unless the unmodified charge was 7 or more. Basically, they're flailing around, and they get 2 health each. Harridans, same basic profile, 8-inch move, and a 5+ ward with a 6+ save. 3 attacks, 4s and 4. So more attacks, but a lesser wound roll with crit auto wound. In effect, enemy units cannot be healed or have slain models return to them while they're in combat with this unit because they're just shrieking at them. Then the heroes, your big mounted knights, Dreadblades, 4 attacks, 4s and 3s, rend 1 damage, 2 with crit auto wound. And then Horsey attacks, 5s and 3s with 1 wound, but also crit auto wound. And they can bounce away once per battle in your movement phase, remove them from the battlefield and send them up again anywhere you want, more than 6 from the enemy as a core move. 3 health, 6+, 5+, and a 12-inch move. So fast army, right? Everything has crit auto wound, so lots of like opportunity to wound. So your hero can have a Discorporate, so pick a friendly unit to be the target, roll a dice on a 2+, add 1 to save rolls, which is a regimental ability, not hero ability. Add 1 to save rolls for that unit until the start of your next turn. So basically pick a unit every turn to have 5+ save. Neat. But I like Mounting Dread. Pick a friendly unit to be the target, roll a die on a 2+, subtract the current battle round number from the control scores of enemy units while they're in combat with the target. You have so many 5+ units showing up on the table, end of any turn, you can just take an objective back. That is the one. Discorporate, no thank you. Still gotta roll a dice to make it really work out for me. I will be able to take out control scores because I'll know what turn it is. And then your Spirit Torment can get Unholy Village. Pick a visible enemy units in your hero phase within 6. Roll a die on a 3+, the target must immediately retreat. Deathly Possessor, you get someone to fight on you. So on a roll D3 on a 2+, pick 1. Inflict mortal damage to the target equal to the roll, or inflict mortal damage to the victim equal to the roll. So you don't actually attack with their weapon this time around. It's just you do mortal wounds. It's a bit easier. And then tail, because that's in Spearhead, it needed to balance out. Like you don't want to be able to like have the superheroes, like the Ogre Tyrant would just like liquefy one of his units. That's any combat phase. You can do it every turn. You can do it 8 times per game. Tales of Horror, pick an enemy infantry or cavalry unit within 6 of your general for the rest of the battle. If the unit's replaced using the Call Reinforcements ability, have the number of models they have show up. That's pretty cool. And then Spectral Howl, pick an enemy unit within 12 of your general to be the target. For the rest of the turn, subtract 1 from the number of dice rolled when making charge rolls for the target to a minimum of 1. So ranking those, I'm going to say Deathly Possessor, because 8 times doing mortal wounds on a 3+, yeah. On either the hero or the unit. You can slice himself or slice the unit. Yeah, Mounting Dread, Deathly Possessor would be my top. Situationally, Unholy Village could be handy to keep your people in combat with you. Like if you're playing like Sylvaneth, you want to keep them in combat to be able to maneuver around. Tales of Horror, no, because once per battle. Same with Spectral Howl, once per battle. I'd rather have something that works every turn. And that's it. Last but not least, our Anvil of Apotheiois. You can have a Chain Rattler, a Foul Spectre, or a Lord of Torment. Those are your size your Nighthaunts hero, and they get a Malignant Blade. And then it's what do you want them to be? A Guardian of Souls, a Baleful, or a Dark Judge, or a Knight of Shrouds. You can use different miniatures for all of these. You got a cool story for them. Take a mount like a steed, an Edifice of the Damned, or a Chariot, which is pretty cool. Upgrade their mounts. And then the Path of the Dark Judge, the Path of Torment, are your 2 different paths you need to level up. So non-hero Nighthaunt units for the Path of Torment, and then Nighthaunt heroes for the Path of the Dark Judge. that's it. So there it is, the Nighthaunts. Man, I like these because they're small. I do think that Regiments of Renown should be smaller to give people an opportunity to just paint a model or a few, like 2. Like the fact this is just 11 models, and this is 1, I really like. I like that, I'll be honest, I'm not surprised it is because it just seems like a way of getting them out there. I like that the Shackle Horde is miniatures you don't see used very often, except for maybe the Spirit Torment and the Chain and the Dreadblade Harrows. Like these are, and the Blade Geists are super popular too, and they were really popular every edition so far. But the Harridans don't get used that much. It's cool to see them. And the Chain Gas too. Yeah, I guess I take it back. They're not super underrated units, but like it's a big selection of models. And they're neat, different models that you might not paint otherwise. So because I like Spearhead for like kind of its inclusivity of units you don't see on the table all the time, this one's fun. And it's a good match for the other one too, so. Between this and the other Nighthaunt box, you've got a lot of miniatures on the table. That's a decent sized chunk of an army, and if you throw in a gash, you're just good to go. You can do that other regiment right away. So that's our look at Nighthaunts. What do I think? Love this guy. Love the inclusion of a cool new gun and the models. I mean, I'm a big Casket of Curiosities fan, so I like anything that's weird and Del I love his story. He's a snake oil salesman that got caught dying, and now he works for Nagash, basically, throwing vials of poison. And overall, yeah, this one's a win. I think it's a cool book. It is, again, I'm hoping that Nighthaunt players don't feel too robbed. I am kind of happy when not too much stuff comes out, but just new ways to play the army. Simply because I don't think Battletomes need to get that big. We see it happen with Space Marines and Stormcast where there's just too many lines and codes. There's enough stuff in the Nighthaunts to make them interesting for a new player to dive into and have lots of options. So just making the unit and the army consistent, giving them some regiments around to play differently. It feels like enough for this edition too, especially as we cycle into year 2. It makes me want to bust up my Night army and paint some new units. So there is a GMG review of the Death Battletome Nighthaunt. You can check out the Flesh Eater Quartz one today as well. It'll be over on the GMGW channel, so you can go check that out and see what's going on with the ghouls. But thanks for watching. Thanks, I'm Ash.